Hey everyone, this is crazy. Just look at this chart. I'm incredibly excited right now. I hope you're doing well because this was an incredible crash, if you may call it so. We have been talking about this in yesterday's video, and we were right around this range here. And when yesterday I had to go to sleep and Bitcoin was still in my channel that I drew a while ago, and it was about here 6.2k maybe, and it was about to break this low, and I was looking at it and I thought to myself, okay, this might be going to 6k, which is this line here, and I thought we'll definitely see a bounce because what could possibly happen? But still, I put in some buy orders right around here and around here, and I'm so happy I did. I went to sleep, and when I came back, it was here. And I couldn't believe all of this happened during 7 to 6 hours. So we have incredible things that have been happening, and even crazier is this chart right here. This is Bitcoin Cash, now also known as Bitcoin Crash. We were talking about how crazy this parabolic movement was yesterday when we were at right around maybe 1500, 1600, I don't remember, whatever. It just almost doubled before it crashed right back down to 1.2k, and now it's 1.6k again, and it's starting to rise a little, which is the reason why Bitcoin, wow, it's dropping like a rock as we speak. When I started this video, I'm pretty sure it was right around here, 6.1k. If we look at a smaller time frame, because everything is moving so fast that we are seeing a big drop because of the second rise of Bitcoin Cash. Now, if we want to do some technical analysis on this, we have to first talk about what caused this sharp V bottom and the spike back up. So I want to say that I've had an incredible trade because, as I said, I made money overnight. It's really awesome to have put in pretty low buy orders, and I want to be honest, I never thought these would fill because the velocity at which it's been dropping here is just much higher than what we've seen before. But this is why you could always put in some low orders, and who knows, they might get filled as they did today for me. So we have had fundamentally, I just found out that we've had incredible FUD, so fear, uncertainty, doubt about some of the big players in Bitcoin Cash. So people have been saying that there's this guy named Roger Ver or whatever his name is, and people have been seeing him moving around his Bitcoin, and this guy basically has some sort of 25,000 Bitcoins, and people were starting to spread rumors about how this guy might be able to dump Bitcoin down to $1 or something if he decided to dump his Bitcoin all at once, because he is behind Bitcoin Cash allegedly, and he is one of those who are claiming that Bitcoin Cash is going to overtake Bitcoin. And as this happened last night, this huge rise of Bitcoin Cash, and as we said yesterday, it was parabolic before and it went even more parabolic. But as you see, there is a huge risk involved in getting in here, because right, if you got in here, you're still safe, but there are some people who got here, and even bought the top up here, and I think they're in big trouble right now, especially if they were margin trading and got liquidated. So as we were saying, we have this guy saying that Bitcoin Cash would overtake Bitcoin. And at one point we had Bitcoin Cash at 2.8k with Bitcoin just at 5.4k, so Bitcoin Cash was over half a Bitcoin worth, and that's a lot. So that's pretty unexpected if we look at the past days. But now we want to do some technical analysis as far as we can for this situation, I want to say that this channel has been broken because of the whole panic. But it came back to this channel, and this resistance line is still in play, because this resistance, you can see it in the last video. I had drawn it because of these points here, and it got respected pretty well. I'm really glad that I closed right around here. I couldn't take this wick, but it's completely okay. I made 9% while sleeping. I couldn't ask for more, and I closed here not knowing whether it was going up or down. It was a good decision because now it's going down. Now the question is, will it keep going down? Will it bounce off here, or will we see some more panic? If you have not been able to make some money yet, you should look at the following things. So first of all, we have to look at different time frames. So on the 4-hour chart, we could talk about where we are in, speaking of trends. So look at this huge volume spike, just crazy. So the trend is your friend, and we are in a firm downtrend right now. After this incredible crazy top, we have been making lower lows and lower highs. That's what we could say. On the 4-hour chart, we don't even see highs really. This is a little high, this is a low, this is might be seen as a high, but this is basically just a straight line down. So we need the 1-hour chart to look at lows and highs, and as we can see, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and incredibly lower low. And this high right here, it tried to form a higher high than this one. Of course, it probably didn't work out that well, because as we can see, this wick was a little higher. We don't immediately need a higher high, of course, but in order to end this downtrend, even temporarily, we would need to see a higher low, so higher than this one. So it should go like this, and then form the higher high. So this might mean an end or a temporary end to this downtrend, which has brought us down. Let's look at the percentages once again, from here to here. Wow, it's over 30%. Even if we took this point right here, we are at nearly 30%. So it's significant if we think about the fact that we are only 4 days after this huge blow off top, and right now we have the same circumstances as yesterday, only that Bitcoin Cash had this crazy rise and fall with a lot of people getting hurt, but it's going again. So I have no idea what this is going, because I cannot understand why anyone would start to get into this, because you can get burned pretty easily. I had one comment yesterday, and this person asked me, are you going to buy into Bitcoin Cash? And I said, honestly, I'm not going to do this because it's way too risky. It's not what I want to do. I was completely happy with my Bitcoin, because Bitcoin Cash, you see, it can keep going, could have kept going to 3.5, but you never know. You never know when this huge crash comes. And do you really want to be the guy who bought up here and then saw this thing drop like 50% or more? I wouldn't want to be that guy. So sure, if you bought it right down here, you're still in the green, but I see that a lot of people haven't. Look at this huge volume that came in, and then some big guys that, okay, profit taking, boom, right down. And this spirals into panic. Of course, we are looking at 3 15-minute candles. So in less than 1 hour, if you look at the 1-hour chart, in less than 1 hour, we came down from here to here and then down to here. So it halved in not even 2 hours, and this is the risk you're getting involved in. So you might say, okay, I want to be part of this. So you might consider, I know we're in a little in a smaller time frame right now, and you could say, okay, I'm going to try to buy right on here, or wait for the next little dip. Let's say Bitcoin Cash manages to establish a higher low right around here. You might say, okay, I'm gonna throw a little a little bit of money that you don't really need into this just to get some of those huge gains. Because if we look at the percentage gains here on CoinMarketCap, we can still see that Bitcoin Cash still is at plus 30%. Went crazy, almost parabolic, and we may not see anything like this in the next month, because things like these with a coin with such a high market cap don't happen too often. So let's try to think reasonably. I wouldn't want to touch this one. I know it's tempting, but you could have been this guy right here who bought here and saw this thing crash down upon him. I prefer to play Bitcoin. Look at this. We are already dropping like a rock below 5K, 6K I mean, sorry. And this is nice to have this development in the video, because if we break this line, it means that this channel, the bottom of this channel at least, is not too meaningful anymore now that this has been broken. And what we really want to see is whether we break this low of 5,890, because this is a higher low than this one, and we might want to keep this low in place, because as you can see here, it's getting kind of scary, because if we break this, we might as well fall further down and back to below 6K for real. I wouldn't mind this, because as I said, these huge spikes down, if you know how to play them, seriously, if you know how to play them and you are not one who panics, then you can make a lot of money with these, because as you can see, it always bounces. It bounces. I mean, even if you were an unlucky guy who bought at, let's say, 6.2K yesterday, okay, you would have seen this thing go down all the way to 5.4K. You would have said, okay, my life is over. But the spike, the huge bounce back up, would have given you the chance to get out, even in profit, because it went to 6.4K. So if you actually see a big spike down, don't think that this is the end of Bitcoin, because sure, everything can happen, but you have to think in probabilities. And what's the probability that today Bitcoin is going to zero? And the reason why these people had this huge panic, supposedly, is because this one guy was set to be able to dump Bitcoin to zero. But you have to think about whether or not someone would ever do that, because this guy holding 25K Bitcoin is a huge whale who has millions and millions of dollars in Bitcoin. If he wanted to actually dump it down to zero, that would mean that he would not only sell Bitcoin at 6K, but also on 5K, 4K, 3K, and even at $10 in order to bring the price down. And even if he did that, that doesn't mean that the price wouldn't spike back up, because everyone would want to buy Bitcoin at $1 or 10 or even 100 or 1,000. So don't let this so-called FUD get to you. And let's say we drop down even more and we go to 5K. I am definitely going to buy 5K, and I am even more so going to buy 4.8K, because these are prices that you would have wanted to have just 4 days ago. Look at this, 4 days ago. The markets are incredibly fast at adapting or at dealing with a certain price. So 4 days ago, people were saying, oh, if Bitcoin only went down to 5.5K, and now everyone is too scared to buy, basically. So people kept dumping it before big money came in and said, okay, let's get real and stop this bullshit. So if you trade without your emotions, you are going to make some money based on good decisions. So you're going to say, okay, my buys are going to be at 5.2, 5K, 4.8K. So now last question is, where is Bitcoin going? At this point, no one knows. Some people really think that Bitcoin Cash, which is rising really fast, again, still not established a higher high, is going to be difficult in one go, but who knows? I mean, it might spike up here, or it might even first establish a higher low before it gets higher. But some people think Bitcoin Cash will take over. But I am looking at technical analysis first of all, and if you want to get technical, oh, by the way, remember yesterday's video I said that we're probably gonna need these old support lines that I had, and this one was already here in place yesterday, and it was a pretty good one because it kinda went right to this support, because it was important back here. Sure, you could say it's just the 5.4k line, but it didn't stop before that, so it's not bad to have these old lines in place. And last thing I want to look at is a Fibonacci retracement tool, because if we look at past crashes, we have had a pretty accurate Fibonacci retracements. So the July crash up to the peak of August, right here around 5k, we have seen a big crash in the crash of September, and it went right to the to this important retracement line, depending on how you draw the Fibonacci tool. I know some people do it the other way around, but the important thing you have to know is that it retraced about around 61.8%. So let's say around 60% of this wave, the market took it back. So we lost 60% of what we gained from July to September. And right now, if we look at our new wave, depending on whether you put your high here or here, let's go with the highest price reached. Yesterday's bounce was also a really interesting bounce at the 0.5 line. So that means that from 3k to nearly 8k, these gains, the market took back already half of them. And if we go down to this line, we are going to go towards 4.8 to 4.9k. So this level here is a possibility. I can totally see it going to 4.8k if Bitcoin Cash starts going hard again and people start panicking once again, because let's be realistic, we are not seeing anything different in fundamentals than yesterday. The fear of Bitcoin Cash taking over is still there. We have in fundamentals, nothing has really changed other than this big spike. And this is one of the reasons why I decided to buy Bitcoin in this wick, because it always spikes back up. You are rarely gonna see it never coming it back. I don't think it has never come back before, because we are making all-time high after all-time high. So every time we have a big spike down, we end up having a big spike back up. And if you look at the chart, if you make it a little longer, it's always like that. Even in downtrends, this is the big downtrend of September. You look at this, you have this spike down, good spike back up. Then we break this one, and people were panicking here because this was the Great China FUD. And you could have bought here, 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 and it came right back up. So you can always, even if you buy too high, you can always save your ass. So the only people who really had to bag hold were those who bought here. But why would you buy here, since we're almost at all-time high? And you don't buy at all-time high. And this is why I hope you haven't, but some people bought right around here. It's not the way to go. You buy after a huge drop like this one, because you always see it spike back up. So what are we going to do now? We're going to wait and see if Bitcoin goes down the drain, and if it does, and I seriously hope it goes below this 5.4k, I'm definitely gonna buy some. And I do it because I really think that it's eventually going to spike back up. You can, there are different techniques. You could layer in your buys. You could say, okay, I buy a little here, a little more here, and even more here, and it's going to bounce back up most definitely, and that's going to bring you profits. So enough talk